NBA totals for Monday. We are back at it today. We got 3 games on the card. Again, this is our NBA total segment where we look at the totals. How about that? The total set by oddsmakers. We try to beat that line, either going over or under the total. We were 1-1 as I get nice for you guys. We were 1-1 yesterday on our NBA picks. 2-1, or excuse me, 2-0 in the NCAA with a push. So that segment's been going pretty well. Be sure to check that one out. That will be on our YouTube channel, our NCAA video. Yeah, it's also about the totals. So be sure to check that out. YouTube channel, Facebook page, sbrpicks.com, Sportsbook review. Got all the sportsbooks there. Looks like I got a little light glare here, but I think, let's see if I can adjust this a little bit. I don't know. That light just kind of wants to shine in there. That's okay. We'll just go with it. I don't think it's too disruptive. Yeah, SBRpicks.com, like I mentioned, our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and we got sign-up bonuses at Sportsbook Review. You got to check that out. Blacklist, check that out. Sportsbooks, you got to avoid. That's important stuff. So, anyways, this is our live segment. For you new guys, I'm coming to you live from Japan. It's Tuesday morning for me, so we get to get up and break down, have some coffee, as you guys have seen me drink my morning coffee, and break down some totals. Let's get to it. All right, so big card today. A lot of really good matchups, and we'll talk about spread picks at the end as well. All right, and the comments begin. So if you guys want to chime in, please be sure to go ahead and leave a comment below. Share the video as well, and I'll try to get back to you towards the end of the video, and we'll also talk about some spreads. All right, first one up we got is Detroit and Sacramento. Now I'm going under on everything today, and I know that sounds insane because this year has been bananas for overs, but I'm going under. And the first one I'm going on, and a couple of these games are hard to go under on, but I'm going to go under anyways. Detroit and Sacramento, 205. That actually went up. So oddsmakers started it at 202.5. Now Rudy Gay, he's done. And it looks like Caldwell Pope's going to play. But that went 202.5 to right now. I got it at 205. It's dropped to 204.5. But I got it at 205, so that's going to be my official play. So I'm going under the 205 between Detroit and Sacramento. Let's talk about them. Okay, so they just met up not too long ago. I'm going to talk about those spread picks in just a sec there. And Detroit lost in Sacramento 100-94. But the pace was really slow. And it just was a normal basketball game. I don't see much of that changing. I think we're going to see something very similar tonight, but Detroit's going to win. At least that's what I believe. Detroit got up just 82 attempts. Sacramento got up 73 attempts. Detroit shot 44% from the floor. Sacramento shot just about the same, 44% from the floor. There wasn't a lot of scoring. It was a really controlled tempo game. I just don't see any of that changing. If anything, they shot way too well from distance in that matchup. Detroit shot 44% from distance. Sacramento shot 56%. That's not going to happen in Detroit. Detroit actually defends the perimeter pretty well. So just looking at this matchup, and we look at them historically, as I like to do. Let's talk about their scoring real quick, and I'll move on. But Sacramento's averaging just 102.3 points per game. Detroit just 100.5. Detroit is really good defensively, though. They're allowing just 101.2 points per game. They're ranked 5th in the NBA. And Sacramento, they go to pretty slow. They're two of the slower tempo teams in the NBA. I don't see them getting to 205. I think that's going to be a stretch. Now, the last time these two met, again, that 194 final, it was a 205 final. 205, number set by oddsmakers. And then we go back. The time prior to that, it was a 218, then a 205.5, and a 209.5. So for the last 4 matchups, this seems like a pretty low total. But this started out at 202.5. Let's not forget that. And it's gone up, but now it's going back down a little bit. I'm going under. I just don't see him getting there. Period. Next one. Let's move on. I was very emphatic about that. All right. This one's going to be hard for you guys to swallow. I'm just telling you. But deal with it. Golden State, Miami. I'm going under the 217. Let me tell you why. Golden State, first of all, and I don't know if anybody knows this. I think you should by now. They are a tremendous defensive team. They just go really fast. They can score. So they're you want to think they're an over team, but if you look at like their last 20 matchups, 25 matchups, the under has hit a lot more than the over. And oddsmakers have consistently inflated the over with Golden State because they scare people. Because you could have here's the thing about Golden State. They're the only team in the league, maybe Houston, where you need 30 points to get the over, and there's 3 minutes left, and you're still thinking they might get it. That's crazy. But they might, because all of a sudden they'll go three. Another guy on the other end hits layup, and Golden State hits a three, and it's crazy. They score in quick bunches. Looks like Iguodala's out tonight, and Tyler Johnson might be out for Miami. He's a good little ball player, that guy. Good reserve for Miami. I don't think he's starting right now. But Miami plays good defense. They go to slow tempo. We know they just played to a 107-95 final at Golden State, and that wasn't very fast. There wasn't a ton of scoring. Miami's a good defensive team. They just can't score, and they can't shoot. Now, again, Golden State, it started out at 216. It's now at 217. But that's a really low total. We've only seen, when we look at Golden State games, because that's the focus. Everybody's going to be focused on Golden State. No one's going to focus on Miami. They had a 211.5 against Memphis back on December 10th. They had a 208 versus Utah. Outside of that, those two games, every single game they've had have been set over this total. So this is a really low total for a team with Golden State in the equation. Odds makers are right. I think this goes under. This is going to be a surprisingly low scoring affair. Terrifying to go under with Golden State, but when you look, just look back. Between December 7th and December 22nd, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They went under the total 9 times in a row. Now they've gone under the total 4 times in a row. I see no reason for them not to do that again. So although you want to bet over the total, you want to go over the total, that's where and they might do it. Let's be honest. It's sports. It can really go either way. Sorry. And they had one other game that was really low against Dallas, 214.5. So that'd be 3 games total that's been set under this. And I missed another one, Utah. So 4 games total out of their whole season. Sorry, I just kind of glazed over those. But this 216, that's a low total. They're going under. I think they're going under. And I don't need to get into statistics, but Golden State, they rank in the top 3 in defensive statistics across the board, and Miami is actually one of the better scoring defensive teams, and statistically, they're really good. Let's just bring that up real quick, just to tell you what I'm talking about, show you I'm not crazy here. I think it's important we talk about some stats. Okay, so let me pull this up. So Miami right now, statistically, they're allowing opponents to shoot just 48.5% on their 2-point shots. Sounds like a lot, right? That ranks 3rd in the NBA, and they're 9th in opponent overall shooting percentage. They rank in the top 10 in most defensive categories. Golden State ranks 1st in the league in opponent 3-point shooting percentage and opponent overall shooting percentage. 216 is a bit too much. I'll be surprised, also with Golden State coming off a back-to-back. All right, last one. Got one more. Again, it's an under. And OKC in Utah. I got it at 203.5. Let's see if it moved. No, that's what it's at right now. 203.5. Let me get a drink. One sec. Okay. The last matchup they had, Oklahoma City could not hit a shot. 109-89. Odds makers didn't get crazy, and they set this number at 203.5. Which actually is a bit high. The last total they had on that game, that was 199. Before that, 199. Before that, 203, 204, 201. So right around this area. It kind of makes some sense for them to set a little bit higher considering both teams are coming off rest. But let's not forget, Utah is arguably the best defensive team in the league. They're in the top 3. Their statistics are off the charts across the board, from defensive scoring to defensive statistics. Oklahoma City is an up-tempo team, but they're not going as fast as last year, and they do actually play some defense. And when we look at that matchup, Oklahoma City shot the Utah-Oklahoma City one where there was 109-89. Oklahoma City shot 36.6% from the floor. That's horrible. What did Westbrook do that game? Westbrook, he still went for 27. That guy's ridiculous. Okay, they shot 36.6% from the floor, and they shot 31.6% from distance. Now, if I remember right, I'll have to pull it up. I believe Oklahoma City is the worst 3-point shooting team in the league, percentage-wise. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see how well my memory is. And this is live, so I'm not fudging anything. But I have not looked at this. Let's see. Oklahoma City is shooting 32.5% from distance. That ranks 29th in the NBA. That's second to last. So I was almost right. But they are shooting 51.5% on their 2-point shooting. That ranks 4th. So they're getting to the rack. Westbrook, he's not a good 3-point shooter, but man, he'll drive and kick, but he likes to get to the paint. Utah, really slow team. They're last in the league in tempo. They get up just 78 shots per game. Oklahoma City ranks outside of the top 10. They were like in the top 3 last year because they had Durant. And defensive percentage-wise, Oklahoma City's not bad. Right now, they're allowing opponents to shoot just 35.3% from distance. That ranks 10th in the league. They're not bad. Their defensive scoring is not great. They rank 20th in that. But Utah, they rank first in scoring, opponent 2-point shooting percentage. They're second in overall shooting percentage. They're first in efficiency, first in effective field goal percentage. So I'm going under. All right, let's recap that. Let's talk about some spreads and let's finish this up. Be sure to share the video too. It's always fun, and I really love the feedback. You know, we get to talk about basketball. What's better than that? Maybe baseball. I don't know. Basketball's pretty fun to talk about. And be sure to check out the NCAA segment. I got some picks out there that I kind of like, so check that out. We were 2-0 yesterday with a push. Okay, recapping. That's what I'm doing. Detroit and Sacramento under the 205. Golden State, Miami under the 217. And Oklahoma City, Utah under the 203.5. And that's it for our NBA picks. Let me answer this one because this one just kind of jumped out at me. Gonzaga minus 23. I'll take Portland plus the points because they got humiliated. And I think Portland is a little bit better than that humiliation. Gonzaga is really good. This might be the best team they've ever. But we always say that about Gonzaga. Last 10 years, it's been that way. Gonzaga's great. They get to the tournament. They don't do anything. I mean, I love Mark Few is a tremendous coach. I bet their first loss of the year is going to be at St. Mary's. I think they're going to lose at St. Mary's, by the way. Let's see. So I like Portland in that one, but I have no play on that. Let's talk about some spreads. Let me answer one more question. Yeah, when teams are back-to-backs, you got to look at that. Definitely. Like, for example, Houston, I caught them on a back-to-back. After they played Milwaukee, they went to Miami. I took Miami. Actually, personally, I took Miami on the money line, and it worked out just fine. They beat them. That was good plus money value. I gave it off. On here, I said it was a spread pick, but about 15 minutes before it tipped, I'm like, I'm going to take a shot on the money line, and it won. So, yeah, back-to-backs, I think you got to look, and you got to look at the full schedule. So, yeah, you got to take a look at that. And you got to be smart with your money and money management. That's a huge part of being a successful sports bettor. Okay, so let's look at some spreads, and I'm just going to tell you who I like. So we got Washington and Charlotte right now. It's 4. That seems about right. Charlotte's playing pretty well. Sacramento, Detroit. That's a tough one because Detroit is looking for a little bit of revenge. They're starting to get healthy and starting to play some good ball. That's at 6.5. They might cover that. San Antonio, Brooklyn. No idea. San Antonio can name the score. Brooklyn is so shocking. They just blew out New Orleans. That was surprising. But I'll talk about New Orleans in 1 second. Clippers, Atlanta. Still don't know because the Clippers, that might be an underplay. I didn't look at that one too closely because it came out late. The line came out late. But Clippers, until they get their guys back. Golden State, Miami. I kind of like Miami plus the points because Golden State is coming off a back-to-back. But the Warriors, I rarely have success when they're in the equation of one of my games. I can't seem to predict them right. They might come out. I had Orlando yesterday, and I was like halftime. I was like sweet, and then Golden State blew them out. I like Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee plus the points. I like Milwaukee to win that game, and I also like New Orleans to win. As shockingly as that sounds, Davis looks like he's healthy. He's probable to go. So those would be my 2 plays. Milwaukee plus the points, and New Orleans. I actually have an article on New Orleans, so go figure. Sometimes I do my articles like right after the lines come out, and sometimes I forget about who I wrote about because I'm analyzing every single game. New York, Indiana. Indiana's not playing great right now, but they might bounce back against a really poor defensive team in New York. I looked at that one for a while on the totals. I finally decided to stay off. Oklahoma City, Utah. I have no opinion. But interesting game tomorrow. Utah is actually going to be an underdog tomorrow when they go to Denver, coming off a back-to-back. They can play really well at times and really bad at times. Okay, so that's it. So for my spread picks, I take Milwaukee and New Orleans plus the points. That's it. What's the wow about? Okay. Yeah, I don't really like Cleveland today. I'll take New Orleans. Rockets or Bucks, I already said that. I like Milwaukee. And any other comments here? Let's see. No real opinion on Atlanta. Yeah, I think the Bucks get on track. Let me tell you why I'll tell you why I like Milwaukee, and then I'll move on with my day, and I'll let you guys go. That's a good. First of all, it's a good Milwaukee. It's a good defensive team. Their defensive statistics are really solid. Giannis is an absolute stud. Houston is great, but I watched that game when Milwaukee played Houston, and they looked better than Houston. Then all of a sudden, they got open looks left and right, and they could not knock down a shot. And if I made a video about that. Houston went on an 18-0 run at home, and I was surprised because that was coming off a back-to-back. I was very impressed by that. But Milwaukee had all sorts of open shots, all sorts of open looks because Houston is a terrible defensive team. And what I said was, Houston, now they're going to take on Golden State. Those open looks, Golden State's not going to miss them. And I was right, and they didn't. But duh. I mean, it's Golden State. They're not going to miss. Well, okay, finally. Golden State, why the under? I already said all that. I already said watch the video again. Mostly due to the fact that the line, that's like the fifth lowest line we've seen from a Golden State game this season. And Golden State's actually surprisingly more of an under team than people realize. If you look at their last 30 games, most of them have been under. But they get inflated because they're Golden State. And they're terrifying. And they could easily go over this total. But Miami, looks like Tyler Johnson's out. Iguodala's not going to play. And Miami plays good defense. They play really good, and so does Golden State. Statistically, they're a great defensive team. Okay, so that's why I like the under. Could they get over? Sure. And I'll talk about Super Bowl picks later. All right, so hey, thanks for the feedback, guys. I'm going to get going, and I wish you guys luck on your picks today.